Listen to a solo piano. Rhythms and patterns. Modulations and key changes. Try to understand the forms and relationships that the musician is building. Build forms in your own mind. A Saturday morning in early November. The sun bright and watery, the breeze fresh. At 12 p.m, the sun is shut out of my world, and accompanied by 3 friends, taken to 5 different locations, about which I am in no way previously informed. Robbed of my window to the world, I filter information through less practiced, less straightforward channels, which are suddenly essential to my comprehension of space. My mind's eye pieces this information together and builds a picture that is constantly changing and developing, my inner notion of the outer world. During this 15-hour experiment, my body and soul, though tightly bound, urgently try to repel one another, my body becoming geriatric in its caution, my spiritual and emotional state adolescent in its feverish changeability. I am a storm in a teacup. Blankness and infinity. There are no boundaries. They must be discovered. Discovery is individually instantaneous. I hold no preconceptions, and my system of forewarning is severely limited. Surprises, unexpected discoveries, can be anything from delightful to a signal of imminent danger. A barrier of courage and trust in my companions must be crossed before delight can be found. This rational trust is, however, irrationally hard to sustain. Ordinary analysis of space is highly superficial. From experience, one glance at the appearance of a surface tells us its probable texture, relative temperature, hardness, softness, flexibility. We make 1,000 assumptions in a split second, without bothering to follow up with the test of physical proof. Assessment of distance and scale from a swift 360-degree glance gives these material assumptions locational significance, and thus formed is our assumed understanding of our surroundings. Physical experience is unimportant, while we prioritize maximizing the ratio between information processed and time invested. My analytical ability has experienced a major and sudden deceleration. I move incrementally through space, feeling incredibly small in relation to it. Touch, that is, momentary contact with a material, accompanied by sustained movement over its surface, and a sense of its relative temperature gives me the most accurate description of my immediate surroundings. This is, however, a slow process of piecing together information and is limited to the sphere of my reach. My feet, while constantly moving, are in more or less continual contact with the ground, and thus provide me with a constant stream of information regarding material, texture, and gradient. Analysis of sound gives me a greater range within which I am able to gather information. It builds, however, a less accurate picture. Sound, coming and going, flowing all around me, gives me specific information as to the nature of its source, but without accompanying sight, direction and proximity are often hard to judge. This uncertainty can lead to anxiousness, terror of the imminent unknown. Allowing paranoia to take hold, losing trust in one's companions, is fatal. An incapacity to plan reactions to imminently arising situations results in the necessity of tentative progression and a much greater caution. Thus, one must be content with incremental filtering of information, the forms in the mind's eye developing slowly. One must be patient. Such patience is incredibly hard to sustain. When patience is achieved, a state of peace can be reached. At times I am able to release the tension and enjoy the moment. Time is suspended, and I am able to appreciate the beauty of detail. I feel strangely liberated by the fact that I can enjoy small sections of my surroundings without the distraction of my eyes constantly, automatically, superficially analysing everything within the extent of my vision. Like a young child lacking experience, my reduced accuracy of physical perception leaves me completely dependent on others. At times, patience fails me, because my mind runs faster than my body can make discoveries. The tension between my physical capability and my psychological expectation is at times too much to bear. Intense frustration ensues, leaving me feeling empty, restless, utterly directionless, vulnerable, and desperate. Swirling rage engulfs me, and like a child, I need constant reassurance until I return to rationality. This reassurance comes both from the people who accompany me, but also from the physical elements that I come into contact with. I find vast open spaces daunting. Consciously trying to remember distances, durations, and directions becomes important. Repeating elements, while on the one hand offering a framework for counting and measuring, can also lead to the sense of a lack of progress, leaving me feeling lost and causing me to abandon rational thought processes. On arrival at a location, the picture in my mind's eye is simply of a vast, empty, grey expanse, infinitely wide in every direction, and open to the sky above. I am aware of some sense of the relative light quality, although my eyes are bound and closed. As I move through space, the picture develops, primarily following the line of my movement, like a ribbon, vertically winding through space. Between the ground and the 2-meter extent of my reach, the picture is clear, but above this layer floats only an imagined, less detailed image. Sound and weather swirl around this ribbon, occasionally dropping points of clear understanding into the otherwise grey expanse.
Old toy trains, little toy tracks, little toy drums, coming from a sack, carried by a man dressed in white and red. Little one, don't you think it's time you were in bed? Close your eyes, listen to the skies.
4 a.m.
All is well.
I have only felt this tired a few times in my life. For 15 hours, I have seen nothing of the world around me, but I have seen so much.
Coming from a sack,
So many imagined images.
dressed in white and red. Little one, don't you think it's time you were in bed?
I remove the blindfold. My eyes are sore and I cannot focus on anything. I cannot walk in a straight line. I badly need to sleep, but lie awake the entire night, unable to close my eyes.
Jingle and the jingle bells.
Before me runs only a constant replay of walking through my imagined reality.
Old toy trains, little toy tracks, little toy drums, coming from a sack, carried by a man dressed in white and red. Little one, don't you think it's time you were in bed?